Hi, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Industrial Dialogue with one of the industry experts, Mr. Madhavan B., the lead HR of LG Equipments. Welcome, Madhavan, to the Industrial Dialogue.
Thank you so much, Sibi. Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Looking forward to the conversation.
Thanks, Madhavan. Thank you for taking out your precious time and joining us to share the insight and discussing in detail about today's topic. The topic what we have discussed is navigating the opportunities and challenges to multi-generational workforce. Before moving into the topic, I would like to would be grateful in case if you can understand better about you, the role and the kind of activities which you are doing in this organization. This will help the rest of the people to understand and easier to understand or know it better.
Okay. Thank you once again for having me. Currently, I'm working for LG Equipments. We are into industrial air compressor manufacturing and distribution sales across global. It's available in more than 60 countries. Coming to my role, currently I'm leading HR for the sales and aftermarket verticals for Asia and specifically Southeast Asia, Middle East, and India and Africa. So that is a geography I'm looking at. It's very interesting role in the sense the organization is going through a transformational journey, and this organization has been there for 60 years, and we are going completely global, and we are upping our game. So this is in an inflection point where, from a human capital point of view, there are a lot of interesting jobs to be done, and all the experiences I've got through my previous organizations, those are coming in completely handy and helpful here. And it's a very interesting place to be and exciting times to be here.
Thank you. Thanks, Madhavan, for the detailed update on the profile or the kind of activities what you do. You said the organization is going through a transition, which is clearly relevant to our today's topic as well.
Yes.
To it will be easy for you to correlate the things and discuss it in detail. That is what I feel.
Yes.
Right. See, Madhavan, in today's workforce, in case if you are looking at, it is more diverse than ever, right? Spanning into multiple generations. Each brings with unique perspectiveness, strengths, challenges, etc. Right? So this generational diversity can lead to an innovative solutions or creative thinking and the knowledge sharing kind of activities. But it is also to present challenges in communication, leadership styles, expectations, engagement, etc. Right? So we will explore how business can navigate the challenges and unlock the opportunities of multiple generational workforce. That is one point. And we will focus the strategies for effective communications, adaptive leadership, and fostering the inclusive environment where every generation's feel is valued. So we aim to provide practical solutions for building cohesive, high-performing, and the team across the generational lines. So this is what we look into, and we will discuss these aspects in detail, and we'll present some of the pointers related to the mentioned subject, in detail. So first of all, touch basing these points. So first of all, I will touch base one of the points, that is, each generation brings unique skills, perspectives, and expectations to the workplace. So it does differ from person to person, right? Which can generate innovation or creativity, etc. Right? These are the things which is related to this, multiple, generational lines, what we talk about. So when we are talking about this, how can organization leverage different generation strength and viewpoints to foster the innovations and creativity while ensuring a collaborative workspace? What do you think an organization can do all these?
I think the first step is embracing diversity and inclusion, acknowledging it that the generations are different. Sometimes what we'll get lost in the role or the organization, the role or the work per se. So what happens there? we forget that people are coming from different generation, hence different viewpoint, different mindset, and that leads to conflict or difference in ways of working. So I think the first step is organization embracing or acknowledging is the most critical one. And again, each of us have our own strength, right? Be it Gen Z or millennial or Gen X, each of us come with certain background and kind of experience. So after acknowledging, organization should leverage those strengths rather than working on only the improvement area, which is important. How do we leverage the strength to the core, and how do we bring it in line with the vision of the organization? I think that is the core of the entire part. Like when you ask this question, I went back in 2014 once I finished my MBA, and obviously I've been trained in Excel numbers. I'm a mechanical engineer too, so decent in maths. But I was put in a compensation and benefits team for a 3-month stint. The first thing where I learned there, or I struggled rather, was there the entire approvals used to go in printouts. I'm referring 10, 11 years back, right? And I have never taken printouts because it was always soft copy in my colleges or previous and all. So I was like, for the some time, I was like kind of shocked. Why are people taking printouts? And we used to take printouts in A3. And this I'm saying at that time, I was surprised. I was struggling there. And I spoke to some of the mentors and I took it to the pinch of salt, and then I learned those things on basic. And I learned a lot of patience over there. And during that journey, I learned all the technicalities of rewards, compensation, benefits by working with senior leaders. So again, I come from a very new generation. The leaders I work with have been in that organization for a long time, senior folks. Now, when these two extremes meet, the organization leveraged the strength of both the extreme generation strength, and then it was a magic. I learned, I grew in my career, and the organization was successful as well. So I think leveraging the strength and acknowledging there is difference in the generation and taking it forward, I think that's the core of how we make it successful.
Yeah, that is very clearly elaborated, because it is you have quoted the basic example, which is very clearly can relate everyone's career. In fact, somewhere or the other, the example what you have quoted, which has been experienced by almost everyone in the current industry, whichever industry you take it. So that is very clearly elaborated, Madhav. Thank you for giving that update. So the next point I would like to touch base is the intergenerational difference in the work ethics or the attitude towards the authority or a career goal can sometimes cause tensions impacting teamwork, overall productivity, etc. So these are the general phenomenon what we are observing in all these days when you have these kind of activities. In this context, I'd like to understand what challenges can an organization might face when managing multi-generational workforce.
Okay. So this will be really interesting. A lot of, uh, especially at working relationship, that I can see at 3 or 4 types of relationships you will have with between two generations. For example, there are instances where the manager is really old and you have a young management trainee coming fresh from the college, and the age gap is say 20, 25 years. And I've been in that instance as well. Or you have say couple of verticals, they are parallel roles. One is someone who grew very fast in the system or hired externally at a very young age, and someone who's homegrown, started from scratch and there for long time, and they are peers now and they report to the same manager, same leader. Again, their style of working is very different, expectations are very different, right? And similarly, like you have employees who are young and the customer who can be very old, and how are you able to relate to them, and vice versa, your employees who are old and the customer is very young. So these are possibly in every scenario when you have two complete generation meeting, it's a probably of having a frictional point, right? Now again, as it says, we are nothing but aggregation of all the experiences we gather over a period of time. What is CB or Madhavan is the experiences we got over a period of time, what we saw while we were growing up, what happened around us, the kind of people whom we dealt with. So across everywhere, be it the style of communication, like a very early elderly person would want from very different organization would want them to be called as sir or G, or a new age person would want to be called as first name, right? Even if it is in a male, people have some expectation in terms of what kind of language you use, and again, people come with kind of say stereotype, like if someone has gone through this background, then they are like this. And moreover, from an organization standpoint, different generations have a very different expectations. People at again, when I say itself, I'm saying with stereotype. If someone is high on age, they have some expectation. Someone is young on age, they have some expectation. Whereas it's my stereotype. This is what my experience has been. So in across all these ways, you will have conflict. The only thing is the leadership teams like HR teams, the leaders, the managers, they should acknowledge and act as lubricants between these conflicting scenarios, and what role they play is very, very critical to avoid, manage, rather bring the best out of these two different generations.
It's very well, articulated, Madhavan, because it is when you have multiple people or multiple generations working together, it is very important that how we are learning from each other, right? The older generations would have their practical experience, which was, which has been experienced or which has been taught by their seniors and things like that. So very well articulated, Madhavan, because when you are saying that, it is the younger generation or the older generation which is working together in a same environment. What we should understand that, or it can be taken it as a positive thing, stating that, many of the things which was there in the older generation or the people who have experienced in the past, many of that practical experience can be passed on to the younger generation. Younger generation might think that, okay, this is where what the way which previous people were working, and the good part or the best possible ways the new generation can adapt wherever it is applicable. You know, in this scenario, what is happening is the older generation at any cost, the new and technologies or the new ways of working, the older generations has to adapt. At the same time, the younger generation also should show that kind of capability and that kind of attitude to learn from their seniors. That is anyway the people would learn it. But the thing is, that is one of the positive aspect, because they have a lot of experience. What they have gone through, the new generation may not be going through, right? Vice versa also. But it is complementing each other, right? What I learned, I have a situation to explain it to the rest of the people, or what I was not learning in the current moment can be explained or can be experienced from the senior folks. So those are the kind of activities wherein we have to experience. That is how the organization would collaborate these two generations and take it forward. That will give us a lot of positivity. That is what I feel. When you have explained all these things, that is one of the major part where we need to acknowledge it. Thank you for bringing those pointers, Madhavan.
Thank
The
you.
next topic, what I would like to touch base is a very interesting topic. Many of the people every time and then this is one of the topics wherein people would be touch basing, and people would like to understand what is it all about. The word is very simple. It is work-life balance. The work-life balance is a priority for the employees across all generations, right? But it can be viewed differently from different people. So that is what it is currently, being understood. While younger generations may have the priorities of flexibility and personal growth, that might be their priority. The older generations, in case if you are looking at, may focus on the stability and the time for the families, etc. Right? So they both will have different priorities, right? But the question is, or just wanted to understand, how can an organization reshape and support work-life balance to meet the distinct needs and expectations of these generations?
Okay, again, I'm taking few cues from my experience. Uh, I remember when I joined one of my previous organization, it was a very new sector for me at the time, right? I had, and again, one of the reason where concerns coming was work-life balance. And then I asked, these were field-based roles. So if you are working in a kind of a knowledge worker kind, you're sitting in front of a laptop, I can give you work from home policy, flexibility, blah, blah, blah. But when you're in a field-based, market-facing role, this entire work-life balance definition gets changed, right? And one of my boss said, very good definition is bringing predictability in someone's life is nothing but work-life balance. If I know that I have to do something at one point of time and I will be able to do. If you bring that predictability, then that you mean that as an organization you're able to provide flexibility and work-life balance. So, for example, for someone who is a new father or a new mother, uh, ability to spend time with the kid or ability to take the kid to the doctor even during office hours whenever it's required, that's flexibility, that's work-life balance. For someone who's about to retire, they might be able to have with their grandchildren or with their son or daughter spending some time or addressing their need is work-life balance. For someone who is in a field-based role, if they know every Thursday, if their wife or brother or a husband wants to go to a temple, on that day they want to end their work at 5:30, for example, in the evening. If they know that they can do, that is work-life balance. So this definition of work-life balance differs from generation to generation, even in the same generation, depending upon the life stage you are in, that changes, right? So I think as an organization, as HR leaders, we should move on from the way of one size fits all policy. Like, I have a work from home policy, this is a policy for everyone. I think time has changed. We have to operate with a mindset of n is equal to 1. So everyone's need has to be addressed, and in the kind of the talent market we are, where the competition is very high, we need to address each one's need. So there, the most important person there who will play a critical role is each and every manager. Each and every manager will know what life stage their team member is in, and how do they build the trust with accountability and give flexibility. So I think the combination of flexibility and accountability is a magic, and that can happen only through trust. And organization should, and they are banking through the managers, people managers, to drive this. I think this is the most important thing for us, and obviously it flows from top. So if I'm a people manager, how I will treat my team depends upon how my manager is treating me. If my manager is trusting me, I will have that effect and I'll trust. So I think leaders have to set examples, and we have to do closely work with all the people managers to build this thing.
Understood. Understood. It is a very clear point what you have discussed, Madhavan. It is the flexibility, adaptability, and the personal touch. That is what you are clearly discussing, because when we are working in an environment wherein multiple generations are there, so that personal touch can make a hell of a lot of difference. So that is what it is clearly being discussed, and that is what the need of the hour, because it is even if you are in a big stress or when you are in tension, if you have that kind of personal touch and your manager is coming back and patting at your back stating that it is all good, don't worry, I'm there to take care of you. So those set of small words would clearly change the perception of the people, or the attitude, or the kind of mood what they are into. Definitely it can change their thinking or their way of working and everything. So that personal touch is more important. How people managers have to understand their team members situations is more important. So as you rightly said, mentoring them, or taking them through various coachings and all those things would definitely play a good role, giving that work-life balance for the entire organization. So that is pretty interesting. So it is, a very good point what you have made it, Madhavan. So it is, I'm just coming to a conclusion. I'll ask you a final, question, wherein I'm sure that you would be able to give me a very clear-cut, detail on this thing. I would like to understand from you, what are the most important steps an organization can take to create multi-generational workforce, wherein, all the employees, regardless of age, feel valued, or motivated, whatever it is, right? And able to contribute to their best of the company's success. So what do you think that what are these most important steps the organization should take?
Okay. At an organization level, having a clear employee value proposition in sync with the kind of multi-generational workforce you have, I think that is a game changer. Again, I'm bringing to the first question which I answered. First, be conscious of you have different type of workforce and how their spread is, and ensuring that all your employee value propositions are targeting each set of the segments. Be it your reward system, for example, your total rewards. Older employee might want higher retirals, and younger employee might want higher take home, and maybe a very different kind of benefits, right? So how much of flexibility you bring in your reward system as part of your EVP again is a game changer. So having a clearly defined employee value proposition is one big thing. The second thing, which like I have seen, I've worked, I myself have been in different generation from an youngster and whatever now, right? One one thing which clearly, irrespective of what generation you belong to, which is one binding force has been everyone works for larger purpose. So if the purpose of the organization is very clear, and if the manager or the leader is able to drive that they are working for a vision and a larger purpose larger than that in a short-term reward or the short-term thing, irrespective of the differences you have, all those things get vanished. The second thing again, which is the very magic, is at the end of the day, all of us are human beings. What we long is attention, love, affection, and that personal touch, which you just said few minutes back. So what is very, very important is, as leaders, as organizations, how do we create those venues for us, for the people to meet, interact? When I say meet and interact, now also we are meeting and interacting, but I'm not making a connection with you. You are asking few questions, I'm answering them. Whereas we have met in multiple occasions outside our work, and that's when we had connected, CB, and we belong to two different generations, right? So the point is, how do we create avenues where people can meet in an informal setting and create that bonds and relationship? I think these two things, if you are able to percolate the purpose and inspire people, second, if people are able to bond and connect across generation, these two will be the real game changer. Now, there are a few more things which organizations can do. Now, many organizations will have aging workforce, and suddenly they will decide, I'm going to bring in fresh blood. Now, it's very easy to go to campus and hire youngsters and put them. That's the easiest job. But what are you doing to prepare your existing organization to change their mindset? I think that is very critical. And we have done some work in our previous organizations also, where more than bringing a diverse talent inside, doing going through a lot of experiential workshop rather than just a classroom study, and changing the mindset, changing their point of views on certain aspects, breaking their notions. And even when hiring, it's easy to hire someone who's with good pedigree or good academy, but are we checking how adaptable they are, how respectful they are, so that they can easily assimilate to the culture of the organization? I think these things will really go a long way in bringing this diverse workforce together, and obviously leveraging their strength for the larger purpose of the organization.
Excellent, Madhavan, because you have concluded it pretty well. The need of the hour is acceptance, adaptability, and how we can nurture them, how we can develop their the internal talents, how we can manage, or how we can ensure the emotions of the people is being clearly handled, the personal touch, what you're talking about, learning from each other. So all these are the pointers what you have clearly had been highlighted in this discussion. It was a very insightful discussion, and it was very clearly giving many thoughts to many of the individuals. And it was a very interesting session. It was a very interesting session, and I'm sure that it will open up many avenues for us to think and come back with a lot of what do we say, lot of ideas and lot of innovative programs for the organizations. Thank you so much, Madhavan, spending your valuable time with us and sharing your insight. It was Really, really pleasure meeting you and, spending time with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shibi. It was very meaningful interaction. I also learned a lot. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.